Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Australia's first inhabitants are the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. They have the oldest continuous cultures and traditions in the world. Aboriginal people are from mainland Australia and Tasmania. Archaeological records show they arrived in Australia between 65,000 and 40,000 years ago. But Aboriginal peoples believe they are central to the creation stories of this land. These stories commence with the beginning of time. Torres Strait Islander people are from islands between the northern tip of Queensland and Papua New Guinea. They have age old beliefs and traditions that still guide them today. They have a deep connection with the land, expressed in their stories, art, and dance. Indigenous cultures are diverse and an important part of Australia's national identity.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're focusing on the foundational cultures of Australia.
That's right. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, the sources really highlight their incredible history.
Yeah, and we want to understand that connection to the land and, their place in Australia's identity today. So what's the first thing that strikes you?
Well, there has to be the idea of the oldest continuous cultures in the world. I mean, that's just immense.
Continuous, that's the key word, isn't it? Not just ancient, but living.
Exactly. It stretches back uh, potentially 65,000 years or more, a living heritage.
Okay, and the sources distinguish between Aboriginal peoples and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Why is that distinction important?
It's crucial because they're distinct groups. Different origins, different cultures, different relationships with land and sea. Torres Strait Islanders from the islands between Queensland and Papua New Guinea. Aboriginal peoples from the mainland and Tasmania.
Right, avoids homogenizing them. So that timeline, 65,000, maybe 40,000 years ago, based on archaeology, how does that sit alongside their own stories?
That's where it gets really fascinating. While science gives us those dates, Aboriginal creation stories often start, well, at the beginning of time. They see themselves as being part of the land's creation.
So it's not just history, it's foundational belief, part of their very being.
Absolutely. These are just old stories. These beliefs and traditions, they actively guide life today. Kinship, responsibilities to country, it's all tied together.
And that deep connection, how does it manifest?
You see it everywhere.
Yeah.
In their stories, obviously, but also visually in art, physically in dance. These are ways of knowing, of mapping, of maintaining that connection to the land and its sacredness, like songlines, mapping the country through song.
Incredible. And the sources also point out the diversity within these groups.
Oh, absolutely. Hundreds of distinct language groups, different cultural practices across the continent. It's not monolithic at all.
So not one indigenous culture, but many.
Precisely. And recognizing that richness is, well, it's fundamental to understanding Australia's actual identity. It's part of the nation's fabric.
So pulling it all together, the key takeaway is
It's the ancient, continuous, and deeply land-connected nature of these cultures. They are foundational to Australia and a vital part of its identity now.
a living connection, thousands of years old. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How understanding this deep past informs, how we view Australia's present and its future. Something to reflect on. Thanks for that insight.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Inhabitants. Continuous cultures and traditions. Express. Central. Guide. Mainland Australia. Tasmania. Archaeological record. Creation stories. Commence. Northern tip of Queensland. Papua New Guinea. Age-old beliefs. Deep connection with the land. Indigenous cultures. Diverse. National identity. Who are Australia's first inhabitants? Where are Aboriginal people historically from? According to the archaeological record, when did Aboriginal peoples arrive in Australia? Where are Torres Strait Islander people from? What guides Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today? What is an important part of Australia's national identity? How do Indigenous peoples express their connection with the land? When do Aboriginal creation stories begin? What do Aboriginal peoples believe about their origin? What role do Indigenous cultures play in Australia today?
Australia's first inhabitants are the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. They have the oldest continuous cultures and traditions in the world. Aboriginal people are from mainland Australia and Tasmania. Archaeological records show they arrived in Australia between 65,000 and 40,000 years ago. But Aboriginal peoples believe they are central to the creation stories of this land. These stories commence with the beginning of time. Torres Strait Islander people are from islands between the northern tip of Queensland and Papua New Guinea. They have age-old beliefs and traditions that still guide them today. They have a deep connection with the land, expressed in their stories, art, and dance. Indigenous cultures are diverse and are an important part of Australia's national identity.